you doing?
Hello, very well,
Very good,
thank
thanks.
you.
Good progress, yeah.
Brilliant. So just introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your dog.
Right, well, I'm Pauline.
Yeah, I'm Andy, hi.
And Grace is 2.5 years now. She came to us at 4 months old, I believe, from the One Dog at a Time charity. And she was very, very nervous from day one, wasn't
Romanian
she?
rescue dog. When we picked her up, she'd had a 30-hour trip in a truck in a crate with a load of other dogs. So she has been an anxious little girl since the moment we picked her up.
Yeah. And I think that people can relate to that as well, because I've had a few puppies that you think just because of puppies, they're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're not, because sometimes if they're born scared, they're born in a scary situation.
Yeah.
It comes with them. So sometimes it's nothing you've done.
Yes.
Some people think it is. It's something I've done. It's nothing to do with that. So she's now about 1.5 years. So you've had her for quite a length of time. What made you decide that you need help? What was going on?
Well, I think we didn't recognise any of Grace's problems, or to put it down to one particular problem. And we assumed that with time, patience and some TLC, that she would just come round, you know, to be a happy little dog. But unfortunately, her behaviours got worse and worse.
I think an important thing is we, as many people do, took a traditional training route early on, which was fine. All the things you'd expect, recall and down and all those great things that you do, but didn't realise because she, in retrospect, was so anxious in a group of other dogs that we were just reinforcing her anxiety by following that sort of mode of training. And to be fair, a pretty unsympathetic dog trainer. But she learned some important things, obviously recall that, and that's great. But we totally didn't get the anxiety thing. And although we raised it, there wasn't an acknowledgement that would ever be an issue with a dog. And of course, for us, it's now the issue in terms of the dog itself and the ability of us to have pleasure in looking after her and keeping her safe and so on. So so it's, we didn't help ourselves in terms of not understanding that she wasn't happy in a crowd, if you like.
Yeah, but you know, I always say to people, please don't knock yourselves for that. Don't feel any guilt for that, because if you don't know, you don't know. You're doing your best. Okay, you thought you were doing your best, and probably you were at the time.
For all the right reasons.
So honestly, don't knock yourselves, because I've made mistakes. You know, learning over the last 10 years, I've certainly made mistakes. I still do make mistakes, and I will admit it, because every dog is an individual, and there'll be times that whatever works doesn't work for that individual dog. So I have made mistakes. So please don't knock yourselves. You did what you were hoping to do, and it was going to work, and it just wasn't. This is where I think people do have to realize that these dogs are very special. It's not all about just sit downs and stays, is it? It's that psychological, emotional stuff.
Yes.
Because if they're that anxious, they can't learn. You know, you cannot teach a dog when it's in a really anxious state. They've got to feel safe to learn. And that's what you've been doing with me. So up you came, you joined the group, and then you took the plunge. But I know you had a little apprehension about it. What was your worries about doing online training?
For me, it's not so much the online training, but the technology. We're certainly not youngsters, and so particularly for me, using a mobile phone app is like a no-no. I think phones are used for calling people when I was younger. But anyway, we have, with some patients, and a lot of patients from you, and Pauline's much more comfortable with this sort of stuff, being able to use the apps, and we found the important thing for us is to do it remotely. Sounds as though you're detaching yourself from the training, but actually it's the other way around. And as much as doing the exercises, getting the feedback from you, showing you the clips of what Grace is doing, but in her own environment and not in a dog training school or anywhere else, that's made a phenomenal difference. And the fact that we can respond to something you've asked us to do that perhaps we haven't tweaked to do right, and you can flag up very, very quickly, just makes the progression much more quick in terms of, you know, getting better and better at for her and for us in doing this stuff.
Yeah, I think also people think it's not personal, but I hopefully you think it is personal, because I'm with you all the time, aren't I?
Absolutely.
And that's the good thing about it, because you are fantastic clients, because you do the work. I can't do my job unless you do your bit.
I think that's a good comment. I mean, we went to normal dog training sessions, probably in a group of 6 or 8, I guess. And I would say after we did a number of stages, but after probably 12 or 15 weeks of training in total, that trainer had no understanding of us. But doing it by Zoom and having this, if you like, almost constant contact, you know, the things that make us tick. We're probably aware of the things that you might think, oh, she'll pick up on that, we better be careful. But you probably knew more about Grace in a couple of days than we'd perhaps realised we knew in 2.5 years. But that's just because you're there and you can respond so quickly. That's the issue, I think.
I think also Grace wouldn't have coped on a one-to-one basis because she just couldn't cope with being with a virtual stranger, could she?
No, and I find that as well, because a lot of these dogs, any overseas dogs, they don't want strangers in their home. They're not going to be who they really are if I'm there. Some dogs will be perfect. Some dogs will do everything. Some dogs will react to me because I know how to react to a dog. So I will have that dog doing all these things and you'll be going, what? Doesn't do that normally. So that's no help when I walk out the door. That doesn't help you at all when I'm not there. So to see her in her own environment and all the stuff she's doing, and what I love about it is we do build up a bond. You know, well, hopefully we got on really, really well during this, and that's what it has to be. It needs to be is you and teaching. And if I can't get through to you in a nice, you know, positive way, there's no way you'd be able to help Grace.
That's right.
I think that's true, and I think the real testament to that is, if you like, we have to trust you. But if the response we're getting is one that's positive and rewarding, then that trust becomes automatic, doesn't it?
It's just like jobs, isn't it? Positive and rewarding.
The more you push us to do things, whereas perhaps we would have said, oh, we don't think we'll try that because we won't get a success. We've said it because, you know, you thought about it and that's the right thing to do. We go along with it, and of course it works. So, you know, it's an important thing. Well, I have to say, I was sceptical for a start. Pauline, I was sceptical, but it is a relationship thing. It's a relationship of us with you, with us with our own dog, you with our dog, in a way. And that's very easy to do over Zoom.
It is, isn't it? So I'm really glad you feel that way, because I think the amount of progress you have both made with Gracie in just, what, 2 weeks? It's amazing, honestly amazing. And I was going to show a little clip, but I can't get it to play, of our last little, technology, our last little session together where you were sending me videos of her just looking so happy walking about. And I'm thinking, there's nothing wrong with this, because I haven't seen a previous one. And I'm she's so chilled. You know, what are you on about? What's going on? And you were just so chuffed that that's the first time you'd actually seen her wagging her tail on the way home.
It really was.
It's such simple little things like that you can see the progress, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And another thing I love is when we're talking and you'll say, I did such and such, and I'll go, don't do that. No, don't do that. Hopefully not in a bullyish way, but no, don't do that. But it's being able to give that explanation of why not, and to be able to give the explanation, you know, that can make a big difference to your learning as well, because you're starting to use the techniques I've been showing you over Zoom and putting them to use. And it's not constant training, it's actually daily, isn't it? It's
It is.
24/7
Yeah.
training.
Yeah.
You use every single situation as a bit of a training. So if something happens, you can deal with it.
Yes.
And it makes a huge difference to your whole life, doesn't it? It really does make
Oh
a huge
gosh,
difference.
yeah.
So would you recommend remote training?
Oh, absolutely not.
I'll give you £100 off.
No. It has certainly worked for us, and the ability to speak to you with on the one hand emotion, but on the other hand no fear of what you might say, but also the fact that, you know, Grace can be a couple of feet away and we can respond to something you say and tell you immediately how she is or what's going on.
Yes.
So it is all really real time. So
it is.
yeah, very much would recommend it.
You wouldn't have that in a training
training
class,
group, you
would
wouldn't.
you?
No, you wouldn't. You don't. We've got the intimacy, but without the trainer bullying. Do you know what I mean? not the trainer's bully, but do you know what I mean? If you're in a group, you know, there's a little bit of peer pressure and, oh God, your dog's not behaving, what's wrong with that? It isn't like that at all.
Yeah. It's hard.
I've just muted myself down because my three are just having a daft 5 minutes, which I knew they would. They're just bouncing all over the place. No, I really appreciate that. And, you know, hopefully I do not bully. I'm glad you said I don't bully.
No,
No.
absolutely not. No.
Yeah. And I'll need to try harder. I'll need to try harder. Oh, but that is fantastic. And I'm going to put this on to the group. So thank you very much for your honest opinion.
Oh, that's okay.
And we're now going to do a session. So our proper training session is coming up.
Right.
Yeah.
No, we're really